Sure. If it's nice if you plan to be um doing a lot more things in this for the sake of brevity. Mhm. 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 I'm just gonna say I don't think it's gonna be necessary for like a major. I don't think. Okay, if I had to choose, I would say probably do it for less than half because then you don't uh burn yourself out on the map stuff. Because sometimes just theater of the mind and just uh sus- what was the term again? Suspense of disbelief or something?
Suspension of
Uh,
disbelief.
yeah, that. So like sometimes I personally just think sometimes it's fine not to have like everything set in stone. So like but yeah, if you have a lot gonna be going on in this town, then that's nice.
I have as much going on as you guys want to engage with, and it seems like everybody wants to get out as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah. Of course, that's hard to judge, right? So, which is why I say like you don't just do it for everything. Just if you know this is gonna be a good like hub area, or if we're gonna be if you think this is a very major point that you think that we would hook onto and like stay in, then yeah.
All right, but so yeah, this is basically the map, and it's already set to scale. And in case you didn't catch what I said in the text post, basically just divide your walking speed by 10, and that is your miles per hour. And that is your miles per hour speed.
Ah.
Like it's technically three and a half.
6.
Yeah, it's technically 3.5 feet miles per hour on a 30 speed character, but I just rounded it down.
Okay, yeah. So for me, it would be 6 miles an hour.
Which is like a jogging pace for people.
I walk as fast as you jog.
Yeah,
Dude, you are walking at a decent marathon clip.
Shade and Ballfrost are tall. It makes sense they'd walk faster.
all that ki just making their limbs move faster. Also, I discovered why my why my microphone wasn't picked up last session. It was because OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, it updated and it set my recording device to default, which does not mean my Blue Yeti. So I've now corrected that.
Quit the
Yeah,
issue.
they default generally means like headset mics.
Which is dumb.
Hold on. I also need to look back in our DMs to make sure that the one character is the person I think it is, and it is.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
No, okay, yeah. Just as in like which one Sarah was. In which case, yep, it is her. Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, Simio would have given you their address because, like, you told her that you're going to Stonefort, right?
Let me look in our DMs for the last sending.
If not, there 4 days have gone by. I would have allowed you to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh right, yeah, she Yeah.
Okay. So, as everybody set off to investigate the crime scene of Ballfrost's attack, you realize that there's honestly not much to do there short of using your sensory ability. However, at that point, it would be better to gain more information that not everybody else is looking for. So you let them all know that you're going to the Caretaker Square, which is where Sarah and Zadar are stationed. And by the time you guys got into the city, it was about like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, if I remember correctly. And as you pass through the city, it is very densely very densely packed with all these different buildings mishmashed together. The roads sort of make themselves, and trees overtake many parts of the city. And as you move along, you even, when you walk past Memorial Park, you can see that there are several statues, two at the front that appear to be wyvern riders memorialized, and in the center it appears to be two mages, one of which has a statue of a pseudo-dragon upon their shoulder. And moving into the Caretaker Square, this is where you can see that a lot of the buildings get a lot finer. They seem to be starting to make out of finer stone. There's more upkeep, and not all the buildings are made of wood and stone. It seems to be like primarily stone. Until eventually you find the specific address that Zadar and Sarah are staying at. I actually have some music that is better fitting.
Mm-hmm.
And as you approach, you give a knock at the door. There's a moment of silence, but then you, with your excellent passive perception, can hear footsteps. And then a few more moments pass by, and then the door opens up to to a very familiar face of black scales covered in white paint. Ah, Shade. What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Did you, I assume you've received the sending that, the information I had Sinjo send to you.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I asked what you're doing here, but I can't say that I wasn't expecting you. And then Sarah walks in from downstairs, and she just raises her hand like, hi, but she doesn't say anything.
I wave back. Yes, my current traveling companions have come by to investigate some other matters, and upon arriving, we noticed that.
What are you saying? What are you referring to? Oh yeah, that.
The zombies and the crystals and the mass
Yeah.
raise undead, I think it was. Control undead. Potential.
Sarah actually speaks up. I've seen that on the walls. Didn't know much about it. Yes, we've been unsure of what those are, but we've been looking into the matter of this immortality event. Do say, what color were the crystals you saw?
They were green, right?
Green
Like
and
dark
black.
green? Okay. Green and black.
Interesting. Well, come in. As he, closes the door behind you as you walk in. So, through your travels here, is there anything else odd that you've seen?
Would I have seen the markings, like the blood marking?
In this city, no, you've actually not seen it.
Okay, and they're not talking of. Are they asking for specifically in the city?
Yes, because this is what they've been tasked with.
Unfortunately, not much. That's about the only thing that I have encountered myself. After we arrived, I made way here, while my companions looked into. Have you heard around about a gnome and others cloaked figures attacking a dragonborn?
And before Zadar can speak up, Sarah just says, "The sick."
I tilt my head in confusion.
The city is infested with the sick. Hundreds of them. Yes, we've encountered a few enemies, let's say. Gray-skinned individuals, some of which have inky black splotches on their skin. Managed to kill 2 of them. And I tried to speak with their corpses before letting them pass on to wherever it is they belong now. But there's not much they said besides... Hang on, let me gather my notes. As he goes into a room, and you can hear the shuffling of papers, and he pulls out a small notebook. And he like hands it to you as he starts speaking what it is you're going to be reading aloud. When asked what they were looking for, they said they were looking for the chosen, the blessed. And we've heard news of what Senior was speaking of. Your friend had an encounter with these, yes?
Yes, they managed to take a sample of his blood.
Would he happen to be marked?
Yes.
Then that confirms that is what they are looking for.
That is also what I believe my companions are trying to investigate, trying to see if... trying to get the blood back, I believe.
And, like, Sarah and Zadar look at each other a bit odd, and she says, "How much did..." And she says, "Did they drain him of a lot of blood?"
From what I recall him recounting, it was only like a splash, right? Or like a vial?
Not even... He didn't actually see any implement used to, like, siphon the blood. They just wounded him greatly, and then he ran away.
So it would have been whatever was like splashed on us. Okay. He was greatly wounded before he ran away. So I believe they had enough from what was possibly just splattered onto the ground.
And it was only him, correct?
Yes, he was by himself at the time.
Well, if you're here to reclaim it, then there may be a chance. After yielding only that bit of information you saw there, I tried to communicate with whatever divine forces remain to find out where we can learn of the plans of these Greys in the safest way possible. And I got an answer. However... And you can see Sarah, she places her hand on his shoulder, and it seems to be like it seems to be glowing a bright white, but with a purple, like, aura around the white light, and she places it on his shoulder, and he calms down for a moment. Sorry, that was a terrible memory. I wish I could forget it. If you flip over the page, you'll see exactly what it is I saw. And when you do so, it is the exact same sketch that Balfrost had of the eye that he saw.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Sorry, what is on this sheet again?
So, the thing that Balfrost encountered in his teleportation was
yes, the biblically accurate angel.
Yes, that is what Zadar drew, that he saw when he cast divination.
On the Greys.
He did not cast divination on the Grace, he just, he cast it to, like, ask whatever divine powers remain, to give him answers. And that is what, he saw in his mind before he got his answer.
Right, okay, so what was on the front side of the page?
The front side of the page was just the notes about his experience with the Speak with Dead, and the only invaluable information was that the cultist said they are looking for the Chosen, the Blessed.
Right, okay. And then the backside was the biblically accurate angel that he saw before he got his divination answer.
Yes.
But he got an answer.
Yes, he did. And that's where he's going to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've spoken with the spirits and the divine forces before. This was another entity altogether.
My eyes are wide.
It spoke in a voice that I could only imagine it as a vile, terrible fiend. It looked at me, and it spoke. And I'll copy paste it into the Discord as he says it out loud. My children wish to learn. Enter Death's Labyrinth in the company of your spirit tamer, with arms cast aside, and they shall welcome you.
You were able to converse with this?
Hardly. I asked for one entity and I received an answer from another. I dare not try again, at least for another week.
Do you know what's happened to the Society's teleportation circles?
You did share the information with Sinyo that would then be relayed to them about what Balfrost encountered.
I showed them the and I showed her the image.
Yeah. So he would say, if your friend teleporting through the society encountered that thing, either it is gaining power, intercepting any sort of spellcasts, or the cosmology may be changing. You are aware of astral tears, correct?
Of course.
Well, I have a friend very far away. He shared with me some findings about how the planes seem to be getting closer together. Not too surprising given what astral tears do, but they seem to be aligning. Perhaps this entity is trapped within one, and because of that it's able to peer in on certain spells.
I see. What is this Death's Labyrinth?
Sarah speaks up. The catacombs. A maze of the dead.
Right.
Zadar would then speak. That is actually another part that we've been curious about. While I'm asking around with the catacombs, we received two different stories. The first is that they are merely closed off, special rights reserved for individuals that we cannot find. Others say that it was closed, that there was a cave-in. We try to ask the Count. Outsiders aren't allowed in. Barely anyone's allowed in. Do you have any comment?
No, he's just looking, in thought. Trying to discern what's going on.
I saw the sick in the keep. And we've been trying to learn more, but we've hit a bit of a roadblock, so to speak. When trying to get into the catacombs, those are off limits, and a worshipper of the grave from outside the city surely would not be allowed in, let alone Sarah here. And we can't scout the keep. Guards everywhere.
There are no one else in the in this group would be considered a spirit tamer other than me, right?
Sinyo
Just
would be
making
the only
sure.
other thing, really.
Yeah.
Not only that, this is divination, so it's an event occurring within 7 days, and
And we know Sinyo's going to Hingashi.
yeah.
So then the only next question I have is Vex, which rune do I have again? Do I have the scout rune or not? Because I don't know if you used it
We're
during
gonna say
the,
no because we're gonna say no because I technically used it in the session.
Okay, that I needed to make sure of that just in case. And I think I have, yes, I have already attuned to the inverted radiance rune, so that's good. But so right, so then according to this divination you've received, am I to assume that 3 of us shall go off into the catacombs?
Too dangerous. Eh, Partially. You came with your companions. Strength in numbers would be good. However, even regardless of that, we would like to know more before we venture in. First of all, what path to take. Given what this creature told me, I'm sure that aimlessly wandering would suffice. Would be just as good as hunting them down. However, that would require us to be defenseless. Additionally, I would like to know why people aren't allowed in the keep, aside from these gray cursed creatures.
Would a noble's authority be able to go past any of this?
If they were born here.
Well, I don't believe that to be the case.
There is one way that we can learn more that we can without necessarily entering.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah says, "Your special sense," as she looks directly at your hand.
Yes. At the entrance, in which case we would be barred, I would then be able to peer in about a mile. Any more than that would not be seen.
A mile may be all we need, if anything. Examining what is in the keep, or in that first mile, would do us a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
I can easily speak with any groundskeepers, or the Archbishop himself. You and Sarah can sneak in, or rather, mill about without worry of being seen, and peer in.
Mm-hmm. What time of day is it right now?
You guys got to the city. I completely didn't look at the time of day when you look at when you put in the calendar. 1 p.m. So, given how long it would have taken to walk from the ironworks to
I put it at 1 p.m. because you said we got in at 1 p.m. earlier.
yeah, you got it. You got in at 1 p.m. So he's asking what time it is when he's like talking to his friends right now.
Yeah.
I'm calculating that right now. So you say you can move 6 miles per hour with my calculations?
Yes. Yeah, speed divided by 10, yes.
So it would have taken you 3 hours to walk here, so it's 4 p.m.
Okay. Okay. I was told to meet. We should. I was told by my companions that we should probably meet back up around dinner. I don't exactly know when their dinner time would be, though. But, yes, we can definitely do that. Ready whenever.
Are you able to contact them and let them know where you are?
I do have a scroll of sending with me, so I would be able to use that if need be.
Then do inform them. It'd be better.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I remember Vex had sending stones
Oh yeah.
that he had labeled numbers. Would he have given Shade one? Would you
I guess that's up to Dinah if I'm allowed to.
or did someone else have the number ones? Because I think you
No,
left one.
no,
to
I have plenty of numbered ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought the whole point Jinx had was to give one to every member of the party, and then anyone she wanted to talk to outside the party.
Yeah, whenever a party member goes off to do their own shit. So yeah, I guess you got number 3.
because I ran off that one time.
Yeah, and didn't come back for weeks.
Well, it was retcon.
It was days.
It was retcon.
Weeks
Yeah.
retcon to days.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then I will reiterate and say that I have a sending stone to contact them with, which doesn't necessarily change
What happens,
most
but,
of it, but yeah.
now
Yeah.
Jinx knows what you've been. Now Jinx knows what you're gonna be up to.
Yeah. What did I tell them exactly? Yeah, I'll just say like going like when I set off, I would just be saying like going to I was like Sinyo gave me the address of my friends. I'll go talk to them about what's going on in town, try to get information there, and then the sending will be let's do counting. Fuck. Friends have going to the catacombs entrance with 6.
The one they're specifically referring to is in the Grand Cemetery.
Oh. Going to Grand Catacombs with friends to use my mark to see to glean information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 9 more. Should does Zara know how long this should generally take?
With the time it takes to walk to the Grand Cemetery, let's see here.
Who's the slowest?
He is the slowest, but he's still, a little fast. He's still a little fast, so it would take 1 hour to get to the Grand Cemetery, and then
Okay,
and then
however, yeah.
and then 4 hours to get to where you last saw your companions, but who knows? Well, actually, no, 3 hours to get to where you last saw them, but you don't know if they're gonna be changing position.
But just like the whole like going there, doing the thing.
Yeah, that
should
should
take
no more than 2 hours.
Take no more than 2 hours. Going to the catacombs to use my mark to glean information. 15. Take no more than 2 hours. Send synonyms, please. Should take Okay, less than 2 hours. Send me the meeting place. A meeting place. Yes, that is the word, Chris. Thank you. Send me rendezvous. I don't think that's how you spell it, though.
No, that's how you spell it.
It is with no. It is RENDEZVOUS.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's fucking weird.
Ha! He said the Canadian thing. Ha!
You mean the
Yeah.
not the not American thing?
The not confusing thing.
Yes.
Okay, going to the Grand Catacombs with friends to use my mark to glean information should take less than 2 hours. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. Minus return. Before return. Okay, there we go. That works.
And Jinx can give an immediate response if anything matters for the purposes of what's going on here.
But aside from that,
this would actually be an hour before. This would actually be an hour before the kidney event.
Damn it! I want so bad to be that.
Yeah, so like in the terms of the timeline, Shade's gonna be in the cemetery while you're getting stabbed in the kidneys.
Okay, then I guess tell me where I am then.
You're in between you're in the commons, and do any of the people that were there last session remember what name of the restaurant I gave the fucking French toast place?
I don't think we'd have gotten there yet, would we?
I don't think we got it in. I think you were too hung up on fixing French toast.
Yeah.
No, I got it. I gave a name. Like the guy's
Then
like,
go watch the recording. You're the only one who has it.
Yes. No, there's a man named French, and this is his fancy toast.
you know, let's just, for the time being, let's just say that the name of the restaurant was Jimmy James.
okay.
Jimmy John, Billy Jim.
Waffles? Yeah, we like waffles.
Do you like the
pancakes? Yeah, we
French?
pancakes.
Alright, but yeah, so that's where they say they're gonna be eating at.
Mm-hmm.
And so you give the sending, and Zadar says, "Alright, let's be underway." As you three head out back into the city.
Mm-hmm.
As you walk through, let me change the music because we're gonna be just basically getting straight to the cathedral. Wrong channel. Play.
Oh right, I have a pull of collapsing. I forgot about that.
Nice.
And an orb of direction. Those were my 2 common magic items
We had comic magic items.
when we started the game.
Yeah,
I don't remember these.
you should have them.
Got something.
Yeah. Sarah's gonna be with you. Zadar's gonna be chatting up the thing and grab you. So as you walk through the city streets into the Grand Cemetery, you can see how there is a large, vast clearing where the stone walls hang very high above you. And as you pass through, there is even a portcullis that has been arranged, and you can see on the insides that there are corridors that are lined with basically burial shelves, and you can see that there are coffins within them. And as you walk through the graveyard, you can see that there are 2 more great mages immortalized in statues, one of which seems to be holding a staff with a skull on it. The other seems to be clutching almost merely the air, but you can see that the artist has even managed to stylize the crackling lightning that would be emerging from his hand. As you walk further along, many fountains are before you, and across you can see many, many thousands upon thousands of graves, all laid out beautifully in decorative patterns. Some statues of celestial creatures, others seem to be having more of a decorative style, to where even like fiends seem to be emerging out of the ground, but statues of warriors are pounding them into the ground. And you walk into the cathedral of the Grand Cemetery, and it is vast, it is large. There you can see that there lies a statue commemorating many great heroes and the past kings of the Kingdom of Pyria, as well as small shrines dedicated to specific gods. However, at the back you can see that there is a single statue of what appears to be a man wearing a flowing black cloak. As I said, this is a statue. He's wearing a flowing black cloak adorned with many, many skulls, a slicked back bit of hair, and a stitched face, seeming to be holding a skull with a carving of a candle within it. And there lies a large dais to where you can see, I will now bring us to the cathedral map, a very pallid looking man, almost gray in his own complexion, very tired, holding a twisted staff of intricate design made almost seemingly of ivory. And there, few people are sitting in the pews before him, and all around you can just hear the reverberations of the footsteps. As you walk in, Zadar says, "I'll speak with him. Keep him distracted. Sarah, you know where one entrance is." And she nods, and then she looks to you, Shade, and she says, and she holds out her hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I take it.
Yeah, and when you do, all of a sudden everything around you grows much brighter, as though you are within a sort of bubble of shadow, and all the light around you is brighter, but what's around you is much darker. And Sarah looks to you and says, "Don't let go."
Mm-hmm.
And you two start to slink along the side of the cathedral walls, making sure not to bump into any passers-by. The sun even begins to set far along the through the stained glass windows of the back of it. Zadar slowly walks towards the man. I don't know, Chris. I don't know if you have. And as you are slinking along, Zadar approaches the man, and the direction that this entrance... Did someone just say something outside my door? What the fuck? Okay. Weird. Sarah is leading you to a spot behind the large wall of statues and the big statue itself that this man is standing in front of, giving you a very good opportunity to hear him as he speaks with Zadar. And as Zadar approaches, the man looks down. "Oh, another disciple, I see. I can even sense a mark of death upon you. Welcome." "Yes, hello there." And then the guy says, "What be your name, traveler?" "It does not matter to you. But what is your name, priest?" "I am the Archbishop Aldrich." the true follower of Nito. And then this is where they just start talking religious jargon. And Sarah keeps you hidden within the shadows, and you can almost see that's very hard to even see yourself behind the statue. And you can see that there is a stone entrance that has many a lock on it. However, it does have basically kind of like I guess its own sort of slotted window to where it actually creates an opening to where you can look in, but you can't go through. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I would have tried to, unless they would have said it would be better otherwise, I would have used the ability before we got here just to save time. Like, let it build as we were going over here.
So, like, as you were walking into the cathedral?
As just like the entire way over from, no, not the entire way, but like about like halfway through as we were getting closer to the cemetery, I would have started using it.
Okay. So
just to like save time in it building up.
Yeah, that makes sense. So as you are, so the first time you do it, you expand it out until its maximum 1 mile radius. And for a long time, you sense, you know, like, just humanoid, beast, humanoid, undead, many undead in clusters, but then you look to the areas where the undead would be, and these seem to be skeleton guards and zombie workers, mostly. So not much alarm there. And as you keep pressing onward, it's still more humanoid. There does come up, like, one blip of a humanoid that is also considered there's actually one fae, but they're like at the max range of your distance, so it's not necessarily ideal to go check that out.
But not in the same way that that Jinx was.
Jinx
right?
is humanoid and fae. This is just pure fae.
Oh, okay. There's
and that's just you getting to the cemetery. And as you enter the cemetery, this is to where you start to feel less presences in general. But as it comes to close to being in the cathedral, you can sense the presence of... There's a new reading that you are not used to, but you quickly intuit what it is. It's humanoid, but it's different. Like, specifically pointed out. Most things have a specific aura about them. Usually all of, basically a white with some leaning towards one of the primary colors to indicate, like, how strong they are in any specific area. However, as you approach, you actually sense humanoids, but with that same sickly gray aura. And when you walk in, you can actually see the creatures that are emitting this aura through your sense. It appears to be 3 individuals in the pews standing before the Archbishop and the Archbishop himself.
Mm-hmm. There is a look on Shade's face. Very, very skeptical, very confused and curious. Very... fairly alarmed.
And you would have actually noticed it when you got him before you split up. So Zodar would look to you and be, "Have you found anything?"
Gray. Be
Where?
careful of them. The ones in front. Be wary.
I will. Thank you. And then we now cut to the proper timing of Zadar speaking with this man, Sarah keeping you and her hidden as you channel your power another time to actually sense what is within the catacombs, within as much of a mile as you can. And as it expands outward, a lot of it is just nothingness so far, just dead humanoids. Then you notice that there's one humanoid. I didn't make a specific map for this because I decided that when you guys go down in there in the proper session, it's just gonna be a skill challenge. So I don't have a map. But there's one humanoid, a regular one, then another. There's one gray, then another humanoid, and then one more humanoid. And you get this, and because of I don't remember, like, I know it doesn't let you see, like, the layout of everything, but, given the position of everything, you can kind of infer the kind of pathways that would be between them.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep concentrating on it for a moment as Zadar keeps talking to him, making sure that you have all of your bases covered. And after after about 10 minutes of this talk, the conversation stops for a moment. And Zadar says, "Is something the matter?" The priest says, "Unfortunately, we're going to have to send everyone home tonight. The cathedral will be closed. There are important matters to attend to. I hope you understand." Well, what important matters would it be to close off the entire cathedral? Is the cemetery as a whole going to be closed? Potentially. And for the whole night? Potentially. And as he's saying that, Shade, you feel something you've not felt before when you've used this ability. And this is like not even inferable. This is not even like inferable based off of past experience. This is brand new. You sense a powerful fiend that also is considered celestial.
Where?
In the catacombs, and it is approaching the entrance.
So it's getting closer to me and Sarah.
Yes, and yes.
I give Sarah a look that's just approaching danger.
And she says, "Run or hide?"
I want to say hide, but running might be smarter.
We hide and see if we run.
Mm-hmm.
And then from behind, and then she quickly just drags you along to behind the statue towards the dark and see you because they've had this whole they've had this whole shtick worked out. And she gives a specific hand signal. And his eyes shift over, and then back to the Archbishop. "I suppose I understand. It was nice speaking with you, Aldrich." And that's all he says. And as Zadar walks out, you start to hear the footsteps along the stone staircase from the catacombs, and the sliding of the stone locks that are there. They seem to have been kept locked by magic and not just simple mechanisms. Considering you didn't see any sort of mechanisms move. Zadar is going to the GM layer. And stepping out, the presence becomes very great for you to see. To feel. It's almost overwhelming, in a sense. Let me grab the new music as the token steps out on to the field. As this figure steps out. And I will put the art into character art. But I will give it a rename, so you guys don't get who it is. There you go. That is a full view of what they look like.
Do I see the blue boniness on his hand?
Yeah, he was walking very casually, his arms at the side, and you could see that his hand is actually disjointed from his arm. All that is there is a spectral, almost like a mage hand, made to look like bone within his that is his new hand. As he steps out into the now empty cathedral, and Aldrich turns back and looks at him. Hello there, my lord. A pleasure to meet you. A pleasure to see you once again. What brings you back here? I would have figured that the girl would have been giving you plenty to work with. She has, but I had a sense to come here. Something told me, let's say. As he starts to... He puts his two hands, quote-unquote, behind his back as he starts to stroll around the statue and just look around the cathedral.
Is he what's registering as Celestial and Fiend?
Yes, but it's mostly Fiend. Celestial seems to be like just a sub-tag.
Okay, I am cutting off my ability.
Alright. And as he's looking around, you and Sarah slowly are just moving along the walls to actually try and maneuver your way out as this powerful entity is looking around. And at this point, I would like you to give me a stealth check, Shade, at +10. With advantage.
Hey, I don't even use inspiration. Let's go.
Yep. 24. With +10.
34.
Yep. And here is Sarah's stealth. That's to GM, but she rolled a natural 22, so she got a 32. And for just a brief moment, Shade, the orange eyes of this entity look in your direction, and they stop there for just a moment, but then they move on. And as you know that, he begins to look away, and you and Sarah take the opportunity to rush out as quickly as you possibly can. And now I'll go back to the calmer music as you leave the cathedral. Alright, there we go. And
Does he feel stronger than the Lich I fought in my backstory?
much. Well, actually, no. Actually, no.
Okay.
Actually, no, not quite. Based on how he is comparable. He's within the same league.
Okay.
But you cannot necessarily say equal. And at this point now, the sun has completely set. And you, Sarah, and Zadar meet out on the outskirts of the graveyard. I thought I grabbed your token. Why did I grab Jinx? What the fuck? Sarah and Zadar. As you're all out here, and you get far away from the cathedral, Sarah unclasps your hand, and the world's brightness and the area around you all seems to turn back to normal. Zadar, waiting as you two walk towards him, says, "So, what happened? What did you find?"
Shade falters to his hands and knees, gripping onto his sternum. There was. I don't know. He was that creature. Some fiend celestial.
Wait, what? What did it look like? What was it like? As he helps you up and keeps you up.
He had the whites of his eyes were black. He had orange irises. A mantle of skeletons. And his hands were more like mage, skeletal mage hands that he replaced his own with.
And it was enough to make you fall?
You remember what I told you about where I came from? Or what had happened to me?
He nods.
What I had fought? I don't think he was stronger than that, but they are comparable.
And then Sarah says, he saw us for a second. No longer.
He noticed that I was using my mark.
And Zadar's eyes widen. That is very bad.
He came up because he had a sense, which I assume was because I saw him. He came up. His mere presence. I turned it off. He noticed I turned it off.
There's something much darker happening here. I don't think that was what told me to enter the catacombs. But if that's here, then I know that whatever spoke to me wanted me to meet it. I suggest that either you and your friends stay very cautious, or leave. Sarah and I still have a job to do here, and we can make sure that we are not found.
Found is not the issue. Just make sure you guys don't get killed.
And they both nod. Come, let's find your friends.
Yeah.
And at this point, Vex, if Jinx would like to use her sending stone to be like, ow, my kidneys, to Shade at this point, she can.
Why would I use a sending stone just to say, ow, my kidneys?
Yeah, but you get the point. Like, tell Shade what happened, because at this point, you guys would have had your fight, and you are now rushing off to the hospital.
I think I'd be more concerned with actually getting medical attention.
Fair enough. However, assuming you get to a stable state, would you notify Shade? Because he's going to be having to spend 3 hours to walk to where he last saw you.
Yes, eventually I will.
Could I
Because,
use
you
a,
know.
could I use a mage hand to, like, stop, just, like, grab her kidney on the inside and, like, stop it from the bleeding
Ow,
too much?
ow, ow.
That's not how that works, Chris!
I didn't
That's
want
also
to
only
say
one
that.
That's how
kidney.
Jojo did it!
That's also only one kidney. Both are bleeding.
Also,
Look, I don't have two hands, I don't have that ability yet.
also, by the way, that is where the solo session ends.
Ah,
Yeah,
now
I
we're
didn't
back-
want to say anything